If you see a company that is a leading company, very environmentally friendly, try to imitate this company and go further. How can I be even better than this company so that they become themselves as an example?
Welcome to Unstoppable Podcast with Harry Sardinas, inspiring conversations with influential millionaires, investors, thought leaders, entrepreneurs who are making a massive difference with their innovative products and services, and sharing the challenges and wisdom of how they sold their first million.
So Bruno, tell us a little bit more about what is your view in social responsibility.
Okay.
Do you think that is a dream that you and I were talking about? Do you think that we are wasting our time here? Or do you think that it's going to be, if companies don't pay attention what we're talking about and they start to embrace what we're talking about seriously, in a shorter period of time that they believe is going to have big changes and they're going to be left behind?
Well, very interesting question. In my latest book, The Art of Compassionate Business, I include many examples of companies that use the approach of social responsibility. I call this approach differently. I call compassionate business. This means that you are compassionate with different stakeholders. I will describe this in detail. Being compassionate in business implies that you only make decisions that are ending up in win-win agreements. This means that all parties win. No party wins at the expense of others. The company doesn't win at the expense of customer, or the company doesn't win at the expense of employees, or the company doesn't win at the expense of the environment or suppliers and so on. This is very important. If the decision don't end up in a win-win agreement, the company shouldn't make the decision, because we saw that this company's mission is broader, include economic aspect, social aspect, and environmental aspect. Secondly, let's analyze some stakeholders. For example, in the case of employees, when a company is compassionate and is socially responsible, include what you mentioned, inclusion, diversity, participation of employees, because according to research, when the work environment is diverse and inclusive, this workplace tend to be more creative. Why? Because you have different views, different values, different cultural backgrounds, and people can brainstorm in this work environment and can generate more innovative ideas. There is a lot of research on innovation and inclusiveness and participation and diversity. But also these workplaces tend to be much more psychologically safe. This means that people feel at ease. There is no fear in the workplace. When I advise companies here in the UK and abroad, we observe many companies that are fear-based. This workplace is full of fear. Employees are fearful of making mistakes, of being fired, of being outpaced by colleagues, of sharing information, sharing resources. When you are fearful, you cannot cooperate. You cannot think clearly. You cannot be innovative. You cannot be productive. Why? Because you have a defensive attitude. You are in a freeze, fight, flight mode, and you tend to defend from a perceived threat. So psychologically safe workplaces, according to research, when people feel at ease, when they can give their opinion, when they can be themselves, when they can innovate and try non-traditional things, these workplaces tend to bring about higher employee satisfaction, higher customer satisfaction, because employees that feel safe, they feel content, they feel supported, tend to serve customers much more effectively. Lower absenteeism, people want to go to work. Lower turnover, people don't want to leave the company. Lower stress level, which implies lower medical bills, means people don't get ill, don't get too stressed, they don't get burnout, but also higher profitability. This means that having a safe workplace from the psychological perspective is very important. How you can do this? Well, encouraging employees, for example, to give their opinion with suggestion boxes, for example, with survey to check how employee satisfaction goes up or down, and address this issue as soon as possible. Also, to allow people to give their views, and especially at the level of management. In some cases, I observe some management members that they believe that they know it all, that they believe that they act in an arrogant way, because they believe that they don't have to be given any opinion from, for example, lower level. Instead, companies that have a psychological safe workplace welcome new ideas, even when they appear to be a bit crazy or far-fetched. Why? Because they act in a humble way, especially management level act in a humble way, and they're welcoming ideas because every person has blind spots. And also having this session where everyone can give their views, what we call brainstorming session, and especially some companies that have this session that include representative of different departments, what we call cross-departmental meetings. These sessions tend to be very nourishing and very insightful because people generate a lot of ideas, and these ideas tend to bring about innovative products, innovative services, and innovative processes. Let's talk about customer now. In relation to customer, to be more compassionate or socially responsible, as you say, is to change the approach from selling products, that is the wrong approach, to serving customer, completely different approach. Selling products, not good, wrong approach. Most companies can do this, is the basic approach, the default approach. Serving customer, very good, and customer will appreciate, and that, according to research, are more likely to be loyal. Let's differentiate these two approaches. What is selling approach is you focus on your own objectives as a company, as a sales team, for example, and you try to sell the products that are most beneficial for your company. For example, if the salespeople have commission, they will try to sell the product that has the highest price, because highest price implies highest commission. However, this sales approach is a bit obsolete, outdated. The serving approach, an attitude of service to customer, is completely opposite. How can I add value to this customer? How can I improve their lives? How can I make their life better? How can I address their needs? Because when I address their needs, my company's objective will be achieved indirectly. If I don't address their needs, they will feel deceived, they will feel cheated on, and will look for other companies that will address their needs. So this means a customer orientation. Attitude of service means not servitude. This means being available to serve them in the best way possible. And this means meeting their needs and, if possible, exceed their needs. I give you an example. I have Italian and I like cappuccino. Now I'm not drinking so much caffeine, but I used to drink a lot of cappuccino, and I'm in London, and there are some chains here in London, and I went to a coffee shop, very well known, the big chains, and I asked them for a cappuccino, and they told me, go to the table, and I would like to serve you the cappuccino on the table. Hot cappuccino. I was waiting 15, 20 minutes. They brought the cappuccino. I drank the cappuccino, was cold, late and cold. This chain didn't meet my basic needs. A cappuccino that should be served on time, quickly, and also hot. Second company, competitor, I won't mention the company, but they're the big chains. Again, I went there, I bought the cappuccino, they told me, go to the table, we will bring the cappuccino to the table. 1 minute later, very quick, they brought the cappuccino, and I was surprised, very quick. And then I saw that they forgot on the table a tray with biscuits. And I said, sorry, I didn't order these biscuits, so there must be a mistake. No, there is no mistake. These biscuits are for you. They are a gift from the house for you to enjoy the cappuccino. Look, compare these two companies. First one, only focusing on their objectives. Second one, try to delight me. Delighting customer implies exceeding their needs. I didn't order the biscuit, but this was a nice gesture. And which company do you think that I'm loyal to? The second company. So try to focus on customer in a way that you add more value than expect, because you generate a positive cycle. Why? Because you are generous, customer feel indebted with your company, and they're prompted to become generous with your company. If customers are delighted, they're more prone to leave very good positive reviews. If customers are delighted, they're very likely to recommend your company to other potential customers. Instead, imagine the first company. I didn't leave any negative review, but it was an average customer. I would have left a negative review, and I would have pushed other potential customers from coming to this company, to this company. So this means that, again, get generosity. How can I be more generous with this customer? In some cases, it's not giving something tangible. You can give advice, supposing that you don't have the product for them, because you don't have in your shop. Well, can you recommend a company that has this product? This customer will be very grateful and will understand that you are not only for your own profit, you are for them, because customers feel when you're authentically try to serve them. And obviously they appreciate this. Instead, customers also feel when you are greedy. You're only focusing on your profit, and you treat this customer as a figure in your database, a figure that help you generate profit. And customers are human beings that have needs that have economic need, emotional need, mental need, and need to be addressed. how can I add more value to this customer? And then let's talk about the other stakeholders, suppliers, business partners. How can I build more humane relationship with these stakeholders, other stakeholders? For example, can I call them on a regular basis, for example, suppliers, not only to talk about business, but for example, to congratulate them for their business anniversary, a good gesture? Can we celebrate with a letter when they launch a new product, a new material, or an innovation, or they open a new branch? So this means that nurturing this qualitative aspect of business means being kind, being attentive, being compassionate, being supportive, and try to strengthen this relationship with these different stakeholders, because when you do so, you are more prone to generate more business, and you have a long vision. You have a long-term vision. This means that you are not only focusing on a transaction, but you're focusing on a relationship, a long-term relationship. What I can say about the environment? Well, the environment could be, for some, is considered a stakeholder, how the company can be much more environmentally friendly. Well, we see many companies that use what we call greenwashing. Greenwashing, this means that they pretend they're environmentally friendly, but then when you analyze the business plan, when you analyze the reports, they're not doing anything for the environment.
Exactly. Lot of company doing this.
PR is only PR is stratagems, but in
like
practice,
I told you.
not good. So, and customer sooner or later will discover this, because all information become public. When the company do greenwashing, this affects the company reputation negatively. There is a group of customers, especially new generation, that we call conscious customers. Conscious customers are not only the ones that buy a product that satisfies their needs, but also try to buy products that make a difference in the world. They make a dent in the world. For example, products that might have recycled material, or might have like a eco packaging, or might have an eco manufacturing process, or they have, for example, organic ingredients, so fair trade products. So in this case, when the customer discovered that this was fake, that was not real, that was the company only to improve the brand image, this is counterproductive, and the company reputation tends to go down. When the company reputation is everything, because if the company reputation go down, this customer will discourage other customer to buy from this company. Employees won't prefer this company to work, because nobody want to work for a company with bad reputation. Investors will not invest in this company. Why? Because they are very wise with their money. They don't want to waste their money. So this means that reputation is key. Company need to be transparent. The example of this that I mentioned in my book is companies should become the exemplar, the example to be followed, to be emulated by the companies. And in some cases, they can take into account leading companies in that sector, but try to ask themselves, how can I improve what this company is doing? Try to benchmark. Means if you see a company that is a leading company, very environmentally friendly, try to imitate this company and go further. How can I be even better than this company, so that they become themselves as an example?
Follow us for more interviews with world's most influential, audacious entrepreneurs that overcame challenges and adversity, providing you with the blueprint of how they sold their first million so you can grow your business exponentially.